Good morning. We are back on the discussion segment of Good Morning Anambra. And in the studio this morning, we shall be talking about breast milk, the importance of it, and the modern lifestyle demands of breast milk. Well, when you look at me, you know that I don't have the apparatus to deliver on that, but at least we have the people that will be talking on the importance and how it affects every human being on life. And in the studio today, we shall be discussing the importance of it with guest here, Ngozi Okoye, who is the Breastfeeding State Coordinator. And good morning, Ngozi Okoye.
Good morning.
Also, we have Uzamaka Eriken, State Nutrition Officer. Good morning, Uzamaka.
Good morning.
Well, like you already know, the intro is importance breastfeeding and modern lifestyle demands. I'm sure every person around must have in one way or the other tasted breast milk, and we all know the importance of it, how it builds and how it nurtures children into bonding and the rest of it. Well, let me not let the cat out of the bag. We have the professionals here that will actually go in and tell us the benefits and what it takes to breastfeed. Well, let me begin with you, Uzamaka Eriken, State Nutrition Officer. As in, we all know the importance of breast milk. That was why God created woman and then said, fine, since you're going to be nurturing a child into life, definitely you will be the first point of contact in feeding that child. And that's why women have the mammalian glands and the rest of it all. Please, can you just in a nutshell tell us the nutrients, since you're the nutrition officer, the nutrients, why breast milk is very, very important to children.
Okay. It's important. And good morning, everyone. Breast milk, as we know, comes from humans and it's produced by God himself. So everything about breast milk is the way God placed it. It contains proteins, it contains fat, and it contains carbohydrates, that's milk sugar, galactose, and fat it contains is just enough for the baby, and then the protein it contains is for growth. The same every other milk, most milks, because human milk is the basis. Every other one tends to move to create that the artificial milk being produced tends to go towards the content of the breast milk, but they have never gotten, never. God just removed it from every human being. So they will never get it. And most times the fat in the formula is much more. That's why babies that take formula are usually big, fat. But if you check babies that are on exclusive breastfeeding, what you notice about them is their bones are very strong, they are agile, and they are hardly ill.
Wow, that's interesting. Let me get to you, because the Okoye, Breastfeeding State Coordinator. We all know, we grew up and hearing that breastfeeding, a mother breastfeeding a child increases bonding, apart from the nutrition that she just talked about, Uzamaka just talked about now. That bonding aspect, as a mother, after nurturing a child, conceiving, then giving birth to a child, that extra joy in breastfeeding, because while you're breastfeeding, your child is you are looking at the child and the child is looking at you, that bonding aspect. Can this modern day lifestyle take away the benefit of that mother-child bonding?
No. Good morning again. Bonding. Let us start with what is breastfeeding. Once we understand what breastfeeding means, exclusive breastfeeding, we will get to understand better the bonding aspect of it. Breastfeeding is just giving that milk that God has produced, that has given to that woman to give to the baby. It's not what you will buy from the market. It's just there already. And in exclusive breastfeeding, we expected that you will not add any other thing. No water, no concussion, no fluid, no other fluid. And as you breastfeed this baby, you know that as you are breastfeeding this baby, you are passing a natural message to the baby As you are breastfeeding, you are smiling to the baby. The baby is looking at you. And once you are not happy, the baby will know. If you are happy, the baby will know. The bond there is very strong that it can never be taken away. It is the way God has created it. Because as the woman is looking at that baby, that natural thing will attachment is there. It will be very strong, tighter, and it grows throughout the year, throughout the life of that baby. You see always that children who are breastfed are usually very close to their mothers. It is a true story, and we all know it. It's because of that bonding. It's because of that natural way God has made it. And once you say you cannot do it, you are breaking that bond that will last throughout the baby's life, throughout that person's life. That is why we cannot do without it. We cannot do without exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months and continued breastfeeding for 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Wow. Isn't that a little bit overdue?
No.
What would a child of 2 years, because a child of 2 years has already grown dentition, and wouldn't that dentition be affecting the mother's breast and the rest of it all?
It doesn't. As the nutritionist said, what we are looking for is that thing that we'll get from the mother, the nutrient that the baby is receiving from that mother, that will help the baby to grow throughout life.
Now, 2 years breastfeeding, does that further enhances the bonding of a mother and a child?
Exactly.
I'll explain something. We teach the first 1,000 days of a child. That is the time of development and maturity in every child. And once that child loses that, the first 2 years, the child is stunted. Stunted in development, stunted in height, stunted everywhere. And the stunting comes from the brain. So if the brain...
even the stunting will even affect the child's, will I say, ability to...
Everything development.
Everything. Because the child does not expand in knowledge. The neurons are meant to grow and expand like a tree. As the child breastfeeds, it grows like a tree and has different branches. That is why you have some children that are extra brilliant. So that way, if the branches, the neurons are not branched out, then the child cannot be what God has made the child to be, created the child to be. And then what the neurons look, the neurons will look like this. And that's the way the child will develop all throughout his life.
Breastfeeding is very important.
Now, since you're talking about breastfeeding and you're a nutritionist, modern day lifestyle, maybe because of the nature of the economy and then the kind of jobs our women are into, our mothers are into, the exclusive is now being denied an average child. So what would be a better way to bridge that gap? Is it to advocate formulas, or is it advocate nursery in the places of work where breastfeeding mothers can have access to their babies? What can we do in order to bridge this gap? Because you can't tell the mothers to sit at home and probably not work anymore. What's your take on that?
Number one, it has now, like you pointed out, it has not affected the society. It's a general thing now. So what do we do to bridge the gap? Because that is the theme of the Breastfeeding Week of this year. Closing that gap, breastfeeding for all. One is that policies that have been developed should be enacted, should be made to happen. Government should see to it. Otherwise, our country in the next 10, 15 years will be in a sorry state. Then again, women will be taught in the different facilities or wherever they are, however, that while the child is also breastfeeding, that she can also express breast milk and keep for the baby in a crèche. Meaning government should also...
Is that
very healthy.
Very healthy.
Very healthy. It should be the milk is stored in a cup, preferably stainless cup with a cover. It doesn't have much, and it should be kept in a shaded area. You understand? Some can refrigerate. You can refrigerate, and when you want to give baby, you just bring out the milk will melt on its own. It's not usually heated up unless it's frozen. And the frozen one is, there's some mothers that may have issues, and they'll buy breast milk from the breast milk bank. Yes, there's a breast milk bank. We have not. I think there are a few places. Yes, there are a few places. We have heard it's done in Nigeria.
How hygienic or how? It doesn't even sound traditional.
No, very hygienic. Very.
Amino acids, and that protects the baby and the milk itself. Breast milk can drown or destroy ants and whatever. And sometimes they say if you drop ant inside it and it dies, it's a faulty milk. No, it contains amino acids, and these amino acids are the antibiotics that keeps our own body. But this body, God has caused it to produce it for the baby, so you won't even need to give it to the baby. So once the baby, that amino acid protects the milk, and that milk contains 88% of water, 2% of fat, and the rest is milk, the hind milk and the fore milk. So that way, the milk is preserved, and the milk can be preserved for 8 days, right?
Yes. Good days in the fridge.
Sourced breast milk
Yes.
can last 8 days.
Yes.
Wow.
And moreover, you are talking of what happens in present days with our women.
Because most mothers.
If you're a farmer, we don't have the fears of you are not washing your breast when you want to breastfeed. You can take your baby to the farm. We do it in olden days. You can take your baby when you want to breastfeed the baby. Just breastfeed the baby. Those antibodies there will prevent the baby not to be infected with anything. It will fight against any infection. If you are a civil servant, we are pleading with sectors to help us create crèche, just a little space for breastfeeding mothers. You can go with your house help. Once it's time for breastfeeding, go there and breastfeed your baby. Even in
obstructing your job.
Yes.
That's a nice one.
Yes. Even in the market, you can still breastfeed your baby. It's very easy to do. It's a very simple thing.
It's so simple to do. Why are we having shortage of mothers breastfeeding their babies?
Because of their understanding.
Is it because of the borrowed culture of
exactly. I want to look smart.
Coming to talk about that, does breastfeeding in any way affect a woman's beauty?
No.
Diminishes it?
No, it helps.
Never. It will rather help you to shapen well.
Shed weight.
If you exclusively breastfeed your baby, you will see that you will treat very well. Good. You look good.
You
Yes.
Everything will go because you're emptying
everything.
Into the baby's mouth.
Yes.
And so once you empty it, it's finished. And then what baby, and as it's emptied, it refills for baby. But once baby stops, once you want to stop breastfeeding, once the baby stops suckling, breast milk stops flowing.
Okay, once the baby stops.
But you will have storage that he will start with the next time. About 30 minutes time, you can still have some storage left for the baby.
I think I'm in class now. I remember that when I had my first child at the hospital, there was this case of my wife was not breast. The milk was not coming out, and the midwife suggested that she takes fresh palm wine.
Oh.
And then after 2 days, the milk started coming. How advisable is that? It worked for me, based on what I saw. Can midwives be giving such advice?
That is what we are preaching, and that is what I am going to preach once I leave here.
Please.
We are meeting mothers at their centers.
Because some people do have that issue, because I've had 1 or 2 people complain about they just gave birth and then they were not lactating immediately. Okay. Some of them takes a day or 2. What could be responsible for that, and what is the proper way to go about it so that you can have breast milk ready for your baby?
Preparation for breastfeeding starts antenatally, during antenatal. Getting close to that 39, 40 weeks of gestation, when the woman was about to deliver, you will see the nipples, the areolas will start coming out. Everything will just be the way. Then immediately after delivery, what do? You do what we call early initiation. Put the baby to the mother. You have skin to skin contact, and you will see the baby swimming towards the breast. And once suckling commences, it will take time. The baby will start sucking out the milk. You only need to introduce that. Early initiation. Just introduce baby to breast. Even if the woman has cesarean section, even if the woman, unless...
Like you said, the woman has cesarean and she's probably a little bit, unaware of where the environment. Can you still take...
No, because we teach them this during antenatal, she will be aware of it. But when she's too weak that she cannot, it is within 1 hour. Before that 1 hour, she will get herself. And you introduce the breast milk. Just give it some time. The milk will start flowing.
My experience, my last baby, I had cesarean section, and such that I had a problem with the baby, such that I wasn't giving medication. I wasn't asleep when I had the cesarean section. I was awake. They just deadened the area. And the baby was really active. So with the cot, they assisted me. I walked to my bed. And on getting to my bed, I asked them to place my baby on my body, on me. So they placed the baby on me. And as soon as my baby put her mouth on the nipple, then there's a reflex it created inside me. And at that time, I started feeling the pain of the operation, yes. And within a few minutes, the milk started flowing. A few minutes.
As natural as that.
It's not as natural as that. But where we have problems is usually the first time, the very first time.
Like I said, that was my
The very first time. Yes, the very first time is, that water, that fluid, that amniotic fluid that is embedded with the baby should not be cleaned. The baby should just, as soon as the baby is born, the baby is placed on
the mother.
The mother, skin to skin, and with the smell of that amniotic fluid, the baby now swims, as she explained, towards the milk, towards the breast, and now locates the breast milk, and that is the contact. Once there is a bonding there, whether the milk is flowing or not, the baby now is a comfort. He keeps his mouth on the nipple. It's a matter of hours. The milk will start flowing. And the milk that usually comes out is not milk as such. It's that initial water. The water is colorless. And once you see the baby sleeping, it means the baby has suckled that initial, but you wouldn't know. And every cry of a baby is not milk. Because the language of the baby is cry. So that I am alive. I feel discomfort, or I need to be cuddled, or I need food, or I need water. Whatever in the language, it is cry. So you don't assume that the baby is not suckling anything at that point in time. Okay, that of palm wine, I need to explain that palm wine contains yeast. And in the breast milk, like I told you, there's milk, sugar in the milk, known as galactose. So once this gets to, the yeast gets to the milk, to that sugar, it goes on to produce. And the end product, one of the end products is alcohol. The baby suckles only a little, and the alcohol takes him off, and he sleeps. And he will not be able to suckle well as much as he should. And then the milk will now produce such that the breast will be engorged. It will be so full that the woman may even feel feverish at a time. So the danger is it keeps multiplying. Is yeast. It keeps, as long as sugar is there, it keeps multiplying, and the child keeps getting that alcohol until that portion, that phase is phased out. That child, you have introduced alcohol in his system, because if he grows up and start looking for alcohol, now you do it.
Now you cause him. And moreover, that colostrum, that first milk that the baby will suck on, is very, very important for that baby. It contains a lot of things that will help that baby. It will help in the brain development. It contains antigens that will fight against, antibodies that will fight against infection. It contains iron that will make that baby not to be anemic. It helps us a lot. And once you miss that, even that colostrum again helps the baby. Once the baby suckles in that, it will help the gut to open. The digestive system will start working well. And when you feed this baby with alcohol in the name of fine wine, you are introducing a lot of problems to that baby.
Well, these are trends that they believe that they
we are now trying to teach the right thing.
Now, good enough, you're doing the right thing by teaching now. Still talking about breastfeeding and modern lifestyles, and then we're beginning to put the future of our children in jeopardy with modern day women. And now, with the advent of surrogacy and all whatnot you have in the medical field, and now people are beginning to see giving birth to your child yourself as being old school. And now, women are much more, they are much more, will I say, interested in looking good, even though they are mothers, than actually doing the work that happens to it. Keeping their figure straight, but you just made me understand that breastfeeding keeps your figure in shape and keeps you. So, taking this message now, how far have you gone in propagating this message to our mothers, our future mothers to be it in schools, be it in the university, so that these things begins to come into their mindset, and then the future of our children will be safeguarded. Presently, as we speak, we know where children and mothers don't even have bonding. If not, why would there be rise in ritual killings where somebody, a youngster of about 70, 80 years, will want to use his own mother for ritual killing? So I believe you guys have a whole lot to do in order to correct this decay that is already rampaging our society by taking your advocate to the schools and the rest. Have you guys started that?
Yes, so as I've told you, once we finish this program and going to an August meeting, we'll teach mothers. We'll have a group that we'll call the NFPs, the Nutrition Focal Persons. They are the people that will cascade it down in the local governments. We even visit private hospitals, TBAs, traditional birth attendants. We go there. We teach mothers during antenatal, during child, infant welfare. We'll try to teach mothers the right thing, and you can see a lot of them are changing. See what we are seeing these days.
You know that the federal government of Nigeria, through World Bank and Ring Project, has trained nationwide 60 per state mycin candidates. This mycin, they are people from all walks of life: teachers, lecturers, nutritionists.
And we have media too.
Yeah, media, men, profs. We gathered them nationwide. What did you do? There was a 9-day training. And breastfeeding was it was done with 1.5 days was given to breastfeeding. What are we doing? To pass the information direct to them, so that everywhere they go, they'll be ambassadors and pass anywhere, anybody, like this picture I just saw on the screen. See an elderly woman showing a breastfeeding mother how to place a child. So everybody is passed on to everybody, and everybody is mandated to also step it down to his own group, his own hospital, his own students. And right now, about 3 states now have now put it in their curriculum as to teach. And we are also promoting it in our state so that it will go down. Even if you teach the children themselves. If you teach them, they'll come home and tell mommy, mommy, please, my brother will give my brother my baby breast milk so that you get this and this as being taught in school.
No problem. Thank you so much. Let us go for a street walk, and then when we get back, we'll definitely touch 1 or 2 areas where we believe that as mothers, there are certain things that you need to actually eat in order to improve the breast production that your child will take. Don't go anywhere. We'll still come back.
Exclusive breastfeeding is good. Like me, I have 4 kids, and I did exclusive breastfeeding for all of them. One advantage of it is that it makes the baby healthy when they were tender from 0 to 6 months, and it helps to build their immunity. It makes the baby, it helps them to be brilliant too, because once you are feeding them continuously on breast milk, they'll be developing well than joining other foods while that's 0 to 6 months. So as for me, exclusive breastfeeding is the best for those that can do it. And secondly, it's hygienic, because when they are that very tender, you will not be bothering of washing feeding bottles, whether the person that will feed them is clean or one thing or the other. Is good. So I think other mothers can embark on it. It's good.
It has a lot of benefits. Like it has a lot of benefits anyway. A child that you did exclusive. I've tried it. I have like 5 children. So one of them that I did exclusive, I can tell you he's very smart. Yes, very smart and very plumpy. And during the exclusive period, it's not easy for the mother because you keep eating so that you breastfeed. You keep eating, not just any food. You eat so that your breast milk will be filled. Do you understand? So the mother eats a lot so that he can breastfeed the baby. And if you see that baby, as if it's a football. If you throw him up, he will just bounce back. When you see a baby that you breastfeed, you did exclusive, it has so many advantages. It doesn't have this cholera. It doesn't have this during the time of teething period. It doesn't have stooling or vomiting. All these things that used to go with teething.
Ụlọ ọbala erika. Ọ ga-enyere nwa ahụ aka ọma nwete ọrịa site na asachara efere ọfụma o ji wele aṅụ akamụ ma ọ bụ asachara kọpụ ọfụma o ji wele aṅụ mmiri. Ọ dị mkpa ime gịnị dị uru dị na ya orika. Ọ ga-eme nwa ahụ ọfụma ọ matakwa onu nwa ya nwa ara ahụ ọfụma nwụta ihe niile na-aṅụta na ya. Ọzọ kwasa dị na ya uru ọ bara n'ime nke a ọmaka agwara ọ na-enyekwa aka brain ọgụgụ isi nke ndị oyibo kpọrọ brain. Ọgụgụ isi nwata ọ na-achakekwa ọfụma, ọ chakekwara ọfụma bụ ọgụgụ isi ya. So ụmụnne m, ọ dịkwa mma ma anyị mụọ nwa anyị enyi ya ara ọ bụrụ ogodo ọnwa isii.
Well, exclusive breastfeeding is very essential. It helps a lot of children because of their immune system. When you breastfeed the baby, it will help the baby. Most of the nutrients that the baby needs It helps the baby to develop well. And it will help the baby not to fall sick. Do you understand? Because when you are giving the baby milk, you don't know how the process is and all that. So it might cause the baby harm or something like that. But when you breastfeed the baby, it is original, it is natural, it helps the baby a lot. Do you understand? And the baby will not fall sick. The baby will grow healthy. When you see a baby that is breastfeed with a breast milk, the baby is different from the one they use a baby's milk or something like that. Do you understand? Even the fatness and all that, if you see them, you will compare. As in, the difference is clear.
Oh yes, the difference is clear.
Very clear.
Let me ask, Uzamaka, Ngozi, can you actually concur with what Oluchuki said? That the difference is clear when
the difference is very clear. Very clear. I like the woman that say that when you see the boy, the way they say it in Igbo, at 10 o'clock. You admire them, looking plumpy and fresh and everything. The difference is very clear. And intellectually, when you come to the class, look at them. They are very intelligent. Very intelligent. Do you know that when you breastfeed this baby, for our mothers, that you are helping this baby for his or her future life? This baby may not contact some of these non-communicable diseases. They may not have them, like diabetes, like hypertension. And for the woman, you are helping yourself that you may not develop cervical cancer, breast cancer. You are not afraid of it. And for the woman again, you are not afraid that when you are breastfeeding your baby that you might get pregnant again. It helps in child spacing.
Okay, breastfeeding helps in
child spacing, yes.
But it will not
take place. We were not taught that as part of a means of what will I say, contraception and the rest of it. We weren't taught that in biology in school.
No. Anyway, you learn and you learn. You are not learning now. You are now learning something new that we want you even to help us spread the news. And for our fathers, we're even advocating that our fathers should help us, please. You are very important for this thing to work out for our mothers at home. We need our fathers. We need you to encourage that woman as she's breastfeeding the baby. These days, our fathers, you are just there, do this and do that.
But is the aim buying the Cerelac now, so they should be complaining because I know a kind of Cerelac now is more than 10,000 naira.
No, we are not talking of. We are not even mentioning artificial milk.
Talking about where the fathers comes in is for them to even save money from buying this canned milk and stuff like that, powdered milk for babies, and insisting that their wives go the exclusive route.
Yeah, that is what we are saying. And we are still encouraging. We want you to encourage them by helping them out at home. Don't leave everything for them to do.
We are propagating. We're asking government to extend the maternity leave to 6 months, and then to give the husband paternity leave
for 3 months.
For 2 weeks. The initial so that the man can stay home and support, because the initial takeoff is where the problem lies.
Okay.
So, but after the woman has adjusted, everything flows. Everything just flows normally. And the problem, one of the problems, why many women will not want to breastfeed is this night feed. You see, children, while in the uterus, they are awake more at night than in the day. So in the day they sleep. At night, they keep away the woman just pumping inside there. So they'll continue with it once they are born. But then if you as a woman needs to adjust, you need an assistant. a husband or something. That is why in Igbo land, we'd go for mugo.
Yeah.
So that is where the mother now supports, so that this woman can sleep. The production of breast milk is highest at night.
At night.
Okay.
So if the baby is sleeping at night, then the mother can now express breast milk at night. So that in the day, when you sleep, somebody will assist you to feed the baby with the breast milk you have expressed. You understand? So, but if the baby is awake to take the breast milk, there's no amount of breast milk the baby takes at night that will stop the flow. It increases the flow.
As the baby is suckling.
Yes, the baby is producing. Even sometimes, as the baby is suckling here, it is leaking from here.
Okay.
So that way, a cup will be placed there to assist. You hold the cup and you carry your baby, and as it's suckling here, it is dropping there, so that everything is emptied, and that the woman will feel lighter, and the baby will be satisfied, and everybody will now sleep. That is where the man comes in. That is the support, but by the man, by the loved ones around, and by the government. Then again, there are times when the milk, maybe when it does not flow, when the woman is thinking, is distressed, is troubled. It is you by the side that will now pacify the woman, remind her of the good times, and encourage. And once the woman's psychology is now intact, and the woman is back to normal, breast milk flows.
Wow.
Then we have this an artificial way of helping the mother, the breast milk to flow. It's a massage at the back, anti-clockwise, pressing, massage, press, massage, with the woman sitting on the table like this. It's a loved one that will do that, so that, and the breast is left hanging, and maybe a container is kept under, so that once the breast milk starts flowing, it collects in the container.
Okay. Yeah. And now you talked about breast milk bank. And now the question that readily came to my mind is, how African is that another woman gets to allow a child take breast milk from some other person?
You see, what a woman, there's is not what creates the bond, like my colleague said, is the skin-to-skin contact that creates the bond. And then this child knows the mother's smell. So if the woman is not the child's mother, the child tends to be attached to that whoever breastfed. But if the milk is from a breast bank, and any other person breastfeeds, there will be less contact, skin-to-skin contact, and it's cup feeding. It's given to
not bottle feeding, but cup feeding.
Not even spoon. Straight from the cup.
Can the baby?
Yes. This is the way the baby licks. That's the way he takes the milk. So as the milk is being given to the baby, he licks the milk into the mouth. And that's the way, practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more the baby gets accustomed, and before long, the baby will take the cup from you and feed himself or herself. So that is the way it's done. It's not, doesn't detach. There are times when mothers die.
I think
the cup feeding aspect of it. What of the nipple that comes with the feeding bottle? Can that contaminate milk?
Yes.
Even after the process of washing and desensitizing.
There is no washing. There is no washing.
You can't wash it well now.
It's plastic.
Look at it.
If you turn it upside down inside, you will see that the production mistakes. If the outer one is smooth, but the inner one is rough, and the tendency that milk will coagulate exactly, and remain there. You will not be able to wash, even after washing and sterilizing. So the corners in the feeding bottle, the teeth, it will hide there, And the next one you take, the baby takes now the contaminated milk.
Please, that's your question of, I know you're afraid of what will happen taking another woman's breast.
Yeah.
But what happens when you take another person's blood? It's just like that now. It's only in an extreme condition that you see such cases. When you cannot help
because
us.
I've never heard it.
It's not common in Africa. It's not common here. But in extreme condition here in Africa, you can see some old mothers helping to breastfeed their babies, their grandchildren. Yes, they do that.
Nothing comes out. What will come out from that? She didn't deliver.
Wow. No, I can even breastfeed. Yes, now. Let's bring the babies.
Is that God allows the age, the child that suckles, God allows the milk for that child to come out.
If
the child is 1 month,
once you start suckling,
comes out. If the child is 2 years, milk of 2 years comes out.
Wow, I'm in class. That's interesting. Quickly, we really don't have much time. Still talking about the advocacy and then modern trends and lifestyles, everything. We can't talk enough, and there's no amount of talk that will that can ever, because this pertains to life. As it pertains to life, it pertains to government, it pertains to finance, it pertains because human beings are the one running every channel of existence on earth. So now, like we said earlier on, how far are you willing to go in order to, because with what I've learned today, you have an ambassador.
Oh,
you understand?
Thank you.
I'll propagate it as much as I can. But at the same time, I still believe that more still needs to be done. So those gray areas are the areas where I want, as much as we are championing the cause of violence against the girl child, I think it should go side by side.
Yes.
The benefits of breast milk, because we have a lot of decay in our society. And if you trace it down, I'm sure we can narrow it down to the fact that mothers have stopped being mothers. You understand? And then we need to retrace our steps back to the drawing board from the beginning, how it all started. And I believe by hearing this, and those watching out there, hearing our voice, knowing the importance of what we are saying here, is not just for today. We're talking about tomorrow and even our unborn generation. Well, it's been a pleasure having Uzamaka Eriken as the nutritionist coordinator in Anambra State and Ngozi Okoye. Well, it's my pleasure having you people here talking about something as important as this. But just one passing shot before we wrap it up from you.
I would encourage my children, I'll call you my children because I'm your mother. Please, as much as possible, breastfeed your children. All animals breastfeed their children. So a human being should also breastfeed their child so that the child will behave like a human being. I know of a place where a woman breastfed a dog, and the dog started saying words instead of barking. So what we do is, if we want our tomorrows to be better than our todays, then we do the right thing by breastfeeding our children so that our children can be better than us tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
And young mothers, there is nothing like when you breastfeed your baby that you will lose your shape. Please, breastfeed that baby for your future. For the future of that baby and the future of our nation. You will not suffer in future. You will not have a child that will disobey you. You will not have a child that will give you problem. And we will not have a child that will cause problem to the nation. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for this Friday edition of Good Morning Anambra. Well, it was surprising that a man had to anchor a shoe like this when you're talking about breast milk. But at the same time, I've learned a whole lot, and I'm definitely going to be passing a lot of information gathered here to young and aspiring mothers and to even lactating ones too, so that they learn to do it the right way. I still remain Ajurichukwu Okagwe on ABS. Next week, we'll definitely continue from where we stopped. Bye. Have a lovely weekend.